All right, this is my response to Ted. Ted, you said that there was something wrong with my video. I actually, I'm not going to record the part where you told me to shut off my fucking YouTube, which I didn't have it on. But you could watch Conrad right here moving back and forth, and every time he moves, his mic freaks out. So I'm muted, even though I've been sitting there quietly the entire time. There's been no problem. We watch Conrad put on his headphones, and suddenly there's a problem. And it goes on, actually it goes on for like the last 5 minutes since he's had this on. And it gets worse and worse and worse until your answer is to tell me to shut off my fucking YouTube, which my fucking YouTube is not on. And you mute me, so this is me not having a good time anymore because you treated me like a jackass. And then we'll see what happens from here.
Everyone about it, which I need to do soon. Everyone needs to know that people love me. Conrad, your microphone is fucking up and pissing me off.
I was just about to say that, Conrad, your mic shit is fucked.
I already told you to go out and buy yourself. Just shove it up your ass.
Yeah, that's what happened. You could tell me some bullshit story about my sound levels, or some shit like that, but there was no bullshit thing going with my sound levels. All the sound was fine. We were just all hanging out together. Everything was cool. Conrad then put on some headphones, and immediately the sound started crackling. I noticed it because I was sober. Mr. Sumdrunk noticed it, but didn't say anything. But he noticed it. And then you yelled at me to turn off my YouTube. I didn't have my YouTube on. You muted me right off the bat. And then the second you muted me, you could see me like suddenly like, what the fuck? And then, so I'm standing there not having a good time, feeling like you just told me to shut up. And then Conrad's still moving his head around and still making the exact same noise, and you're still talking. So you don't realize that you just muted me, and the sound problems are still current, and you're still flapping your gums. Conrad's still moving his head around. Then suddenly you realize, oh, it is Conrad. And then you yell at Conrad, some drunk yells at Conrad, but there I'm still muted. Just left me hanging. You see, like some drunk said, you guys only been doing it a couple weeks, you got some things to learn. Well, one thing to learn is the people that show up in your hangout are your guests. You got to treat them like guests. I don't owe you an apology. Your video saying that like you saw my sound levels, my sitting in a quiet room, not saying anything, is not messing up your sound levels. You could watch Conrad plug his headphones in, put them on his head, and that's exactly when we started having sound troubles. And then I got blamed for it. I got muted. And like you're like saying, well, I could have done this or I could have done that. I don't know. I haven't been on Google Hangouts. That was my very first time. And so you treated me like a jackass when I was on there. And also, I didn't even touch base on the fact that you had like a handgun out. You're like threatening people. You're threatening to stab somebody in the brain with your flashlight. No, man, you owe me an apology. That was a terrible way to treat me as a guest in your hangout. And, actually, sometimes the thing is like about being like defensive or like, well, my version of the truth makes it not sound so bad. Sometimes you just gotta man up and say like, you know what, I was drunk, I made a mistake. For some reason I thought it was you, Earl, and I made a mistake about that, and I'm sorry. And now after watching the video, I actually can see that Conrad's mic was the problem, and you've said it right there on the video. You realize where the problem was. It was Conrad's mic. And I like how you treated me poorly right off the bat, but Conrad, you're like joking with him when you found out he was the problem. Like you thought it was me, you treated me badly. You thought it was Conrad. Oh, well, Conrad, you need to get a better mic. Yeah. You need to treat people like they're your guests in your hangouts, or I can't imagine why they'd want to hang out other than to watch somebody like wave a gun around and talk about stabbing people in the head and all that other bullshit.